Hey, what's up? Six Tayo here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace your backlight in your iPhone 5 assembly. Now, the reason why you'd probably want to replace your backlight, say if you just refurbished a front assembly, but you have a lot of liquid inside of your screen, or like this iPhone was a water damage one, which I completely refurbished. You might have some liquid stuck inside of here. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this, turn it on, and I'm going to show you what this thing looks like. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to connect the LCD and digitizer cables, and I guess the other cable too, the ear speaker front camera cable. And this one turned out a little bit better than my last water damage repair tutorial phone that I was doing, and only because everything actually works on it, which is awesome. So it looks like it turns on just fine right now, but when it actually turns on, you'll see what I mean. And if you have this issue, you know exactly what I mean too. But yeah, just give it a second. Okay, so you can't really see it too well in the video. I'm trying to focus in on this. Okay, you can see a little bit better now. So you see how there's like a bunch of crap inside your screen, and yeah, it just looks terrible. So that is in your backlight, and if you look closely, you can see different layers. That's how you can tell it's your backlight. But then again, I mean, yeah, it's actually kind of easy to tell that. But anyway, this is the part I'm going to be using. Let's see, it's not required to use a soldering iron because you can't always take this LED strip out. But I do recommend it just because sometimes your fingers touch around here and then it shows up on the screen. It just looks like shit. Rather than having it look like shit, I'm actually going to be unsoldering and resoldering this one, and it should turn out something like this. Looks perfect. Flawless. Alright, and yes, this is clear. Looks so sexy. Oh my god. Okay, so let's get on with it. Let's see. Turn that off. I'm gonna go grab my soldering iron, whatever the fuck that is. Put it over here. Found it. And because this is just a plug-in soldering iron, I'm just gonna plug it in and let it heat up. You don't want this your soldering iron to be as hot as possible, but not too hot to where it'll just burn the fuck out of it. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off. Put that off to the side, and if you're repairing this yourself, you should at least know how to take apart an iPhone 5. If you don't, then maybe you should find someone else to do this for you. But otherwise, here's the front assembly. We're just gonna go ahead and disassemble the front assembly. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws on the sides. 1, 2, 3 holding the plate down on the top and bottom, and then one right up here, which is where your ear speaker is. Just going to take them out. And if you're not sure where exactly each screw goes, put them out just as they are, in the phone or in the front assembly or whatever. And I always emphasize on this because, I mean, even I can't identify some screws where they go exactly. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's always better to put things back where you found them. It's just better that way. And let's see. And by the way, the backlights are about $4 to $6 depending on where you get them. The only two places I actually ordered from personally is either Gadget Fix on eBay or Mentor.com. Mentor sells some pretty damn good shit. Example, I actually cracked my iPhone 5 assembly, which is refurbished, and here is my new one, $100. Not bad. And that soldering iron smells like shit. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take that ear speaker out. And And the way I usually get this out is I just stick something underneath here, lift up slightly, and then it comes right off. Now, we will also need Q-tips. I just realized I don't have any on my desk, so I will be right back when I go get some. Okay, got some. So, Q-tips. Get as many as you think you'll need, and then when you have just enough to where you think that might be enough, get double, because you might need more than that. But that should be more than enough. I usually end up using about like 1, 2, or 3 at the most. But just in case, I always have a bunch more right over there. So we don't need to take our home button or anything out or anything else. So when you take your backlight out, you just want to make sure that you just get barely on the edge of wherever you're going to take it off, or starting anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and just get right on the edge of this backlight. One thing I do not want to do is lift up on the LCD digitizer assembly, because if it cracks, it just looks like shit, and it's a waste of a perfectly good front assembly. And these are about $80 a piece for the black or white ones. So, I mean, if you're doing this for a customer, not really the best thing ever. Because for this backlight, I'm only charging this customer $10. So you're $25 on top of the PowerFlex cable, and then $10 for the backlight. And probably charge like $10 for the battery because your battery's shot too. But yeah, that doesn't cover front assembly, so shit. This thing is not wanting to come off. And one thing you definitely want to do, if you're having a hard time with it, take your time. It might take a little bit to get it off, but it's better than breaking your front assembly. So, yeah. Okay. Coming off now a little bit. Kind of stubborn, but slowly but surely going. Get the fuck off. Okay. Now when you get towards the top, if you start from the bottom, you want to be really careful with the top, because this little top area where your LED sensors are, or no, if your little LED strip is, that is the most sensitive part. And if you crack like a small corner over here or something like that, it might not be bad at all, because it can still work, but nonetheless, you still want to be careful as shit, because it's very easy to break this shit. Also, let's see, right here is where the little solder points are, and what you want to do, take this little cover off, and you do need this cover to cover your solder assembly once it's actually done, because what I found is if I don't put that on there, when I put the phone back together, it'll work just fine, but then all of a sudden the LED strip will just not work anymore, because it's touching the metal backplate for the LCD, this thing. And yeah, so any contact with metal can make it all retarded and stuff. Okay, so now at this point we're just going to go ahead and you can't see that at all. Shit. Let me get a better angle real quick. One sec. Okay, a little bit better angle. So let's go ahead and begin with this shit. No, don't go back down. No. Why? Okay. Let's do this shit. So with your soldering iron. Okay, so just so you know, when your soldering iron touches these little contacts, if your finger's touching the cable, it's going to get kind of hot. So if you're sensitive as hell, then might want to wear some gloves. But that came off perfect. No issues. Cool. Cool story. Alright, now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start cleaning this shit. So what I'm going to be using is a 91% alcohol, which is actually what I recommend for water damage repair as well. 90 to anything above 90% is perfectly fine. 70% will work just fine. like the alcohol I used in my iPhone 5 water damage video. But you know, the higher percentage, the better chances you'll get. So just something to keep in mind. So I'm just gonna take the cap, fill it up, and you shouldn't need any more than this. Let's see, now with one of these Q-tips, what you want to do, or what I found to be most effective, kind of stretch out some of the cotton to kind of like a brush like thing, then just completely drench it in the alcohol. And what you want to do initially, you want to just kind of, you know, brush this shit off, just so you get all the fingerprints, all the liquid marks and stuff like that off of the shit. Also, the way you can tell this is most effective is right after I lift the Q-tip up, it goes into these little kind of drops and stuff like that. That is good. That means this will be a lot easier for you. So what we're going to go ahead and do, and you can see this, I want you to watch very carefully what I do. Actually, I'm going to get a better angle on this so that, you know, you can see exactly what I'm doing better. Because, you know, the way you brush back and forth says whether or not you're going to have a perfectly clean display, and it's going to be a lot easier for you. So give me one sec. Okay, so let's get on with it. So make sure it's nice and soaked. Start at one end. And make sure at least the very tip of it, you know, gets all the little droplets. It's better just to go off of how I'm doing it right here than me explain it, because I explain it like shit. So yeah. Alright. And the less droplets you have, the better. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, actually that turned out better. Cool story. Actually, yeah, a bunch of little tiny ones on the edges. So what I'm going to do, okay, so yeah, that should be good actually. So what you want to do with your dry end, because it's, you know, completely dry, if you look closely what I'm doing right here, I'm just going to barely touch these little droplets with the dry end, and what this will do is actually suck up the alcohol, and it'll, you know, it's like a perfect sponge actually. But what you want to refrain from doing is actually making contact with the actual LCD display. The only reason for that is because the alcohol can smear and it won't get sucked up, and it could actually show up on the when the screen's actually on. So just try to keep from touching your LCD and you'll be just fine. Okay. Shit's stuck. Why is it stuck? There's like a tiny bit of alcohol or something like that. Okay. So you can see a couple little, you know, marks right here somewhere, but nothing bad at all. Nothing that's actually going to show up. So that looks perfectly fine. So at this point, what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to go ahead and put our backlight on. Now you do this before you solder it, only because we already have it completely clean. So just make sure you look it over, make sure there's no like little dust particles and stuff like that. Ah, hey, see me. What's that? Kind of lightly blow on it, and from there, go ahead and take off your little protective strip thingy. And the way that I usually get it on is I start from the top, kind of catch it on the top, then from there I just work it on the way down. It'll catch on your frame or whatever, but that's just fine. Just make sure you get past that. And there's 3M adhesive that goes around the whole thing. So what I usually do is I take something like the flat end of an X-Acto knife and just kind of run it along the edges. And that will just go ahead and secure it just fine. And by the way, even though this, I'll put an annotation for this as well, but even though this, I'm going to be soldering, this doesn't require any real experience with soldering at all. Just pay really close attention, I guess. So, if you look right here, we have our little shit thing. And if you look at the solder points, there's 3 of them. And if you look at the little cable, there's 3 little copper points. And what you want to do is you want to make sure those are completely lined up. And while those are lined up, you're probably going to want to hold it or something like that. And we're going to do what I like to call pressure soldering. I think there might be another name for it, but I call it pressure soldering because that's exactly what it is. Soldering using pressure. And rather than using flux or anything like that, or any additional solder, we're just going to be using the existing solder and then using the soldering iron to press it against this, and it'll make a secure connection. Now, it's the worst type of soldering you can do, but it's effective. It works. So, yeah. So I'm going to get a better angle on this because I'm going to be doing it like this, and you're not going to be able to see what I can do. So give me a sec. Okay, let's do this shit. So, let's see. And if you have something like, let's see, what can I use? I use this iPhone 5 housing. So, let's see. If you can find something, probably you don't have an iPhone 5 housing just sitting around like I do, but if you have something you can put it on, like the way I am right now, that would be a lot better because it makes it just a little bit easier to do. So just make sure it's lined up. And just so you know, if you're holding it like I am with my bare thumb, this is going to burn. So, because I'm touching this cable over here, but I'm not touching the metal points because that would hurt even worse. Okay, should be good. Okay, so now from this point, I don't remember if I turned this off or not, but let's go ahead and connect this. Actually, this is better. And by the way, these are extremely useful. I recommend using them on every iPhone that you test. They're about 10 to 12 bucks from Magnetor or Gadget Fix. Let's see. And I will include the links in the description for the backlight and the little tester cable. So, yeah, no worries there, I guess. Okay. So it looks like we have, it looks like it's successful, but we'll know when it's actually on. Okay. It's kind of weird. Had kind of a dark spot there. Maybe this cable's just old. I don't know. So let's go ahead and just connect it to the actual phone. Okay, so it looks good, except it has a little bit of a dark spot right here. And what that means is that some of the LEDs aren't lighting up right there. So what we're going to do, where did that iPhone 5 housing go? Damn it. Oh, it's right there. Just going to try to get a little bit more of a, better solder. So I think what it is this far, a little LED solder point. It just isn't soldered down all the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the soldering iron completely flat straight across all of them. And try to get a little bit more of a secure solder on there. See if that made any difference. I need a better stand for my iPad. Okay, looks like that worked. So completely clear and perfect backlight. So yeah, so looks like pressuring that down a little bit better, helped out a little bit, quite a bit. So yeah, that's how you. I'm going to go to the home screen. Let's see. Also, make sure that your digitizer still works after this, because sometimes you can cut your digitizer cable and you could be fucked. Yeah, everything works fine. So that is how you replace your backlight on your iPhone 5. This also works for the iPhone 4, 4S, and anything else that uses a similar backlight. The HTC One M7 does use a similar backlight, except I haven't played around with those enough, and I don't know where any of my broken assemblies are for those, so but maybe I'll do a tutorial on that, but I haven't really done much with those. But yeah, anything with a backlight similar to this will work, but for iPhones this is kind of specific. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Comment, rate, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 6ty0. This video helped you out at all, just give me a thumbs up or subscribe or some shit like that. And yeah, so yeah.